Britannia must be destroyed. What say you?
Fine.
You can redesign the entire thing in 1 year or less.
And the other one that you have in the other.
We'll get to that one later.
I believe the point of you can redesign it in a year or less would go against the first tenet you just agreed with, Father.
No, I'm just pointing out the practical concern.
And I'm just pointing out that you're ridiculous.
Snapped.
Hold on.
This is why your mother and I sent you to all those colleges, so you could access your papa.
Indeed, and I can do it in 6 languages now. Isn't that fun? Indeed.
Now, gentlemen, please. As much fun as it is to all remind ourselves how clever we are.
Oh, I do know that.
Yeah, I do know. No, Doctor.
No one brought me popcorn for this face-off.
Wait,
No, we must move forward with the hope of reconciliation if we are going to get anything done today. That was the whole point of this treaty, after all.
Order. Now we go back to it now.
Great.
Where did you get that arrow? Mallet, technically.
Careful.
I found it.
What if it's like a profession?
You did not.
Anyways, next article.
Number 3. A death ray buyback program must be instituted.
Wait, what?
Buyback program must be instituted.
This is a fantastic idea. There are still former members of Swarm that could be out there. There are lots and lots of weapons. What we're going to do is we're going to buy back the weapons, and myself and the Archon are going to keep them safe and secure.
Oh, good.
No, this is a good idea. Trust me.
Like in a big box?
Right,
And the American government will help keep all of these weapons secure.
I like this idea.
Captain, I'm on your side, but I feel like this is going to be a hard sell.
Trust me. I'm sad to say it, but I can't think of anyone better.
I cannot think of anyone better, but I mean, it's a good idea.
I would trust Westphalians with death rays first.
I mean, you trusted me, and I would be.
That's true, we do like him.
Yes, but you're a mercenary.
I mean, if you would like, I could
I'm a
hold them
privateer.
instead.
No, American's good.
Yeah.
Let's not give
There we
Andre
are.
anything.
American, go ahead. Yeah.
Good.
What about me?
No.
Moving on.
Could get worse.
Thank you.
All right, next item. Silver Star must offer an outreach program for members of Swarm who are looking to reform. This will be supported and run by Montgomery Krieger and Captain Theodora Croft.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna be hanging out a lot more now.
No.
How you doing?
No. People of London, help.
Captain, it has to be you.
Why?
Well, think about it. Think about your specific military training. Think about your background. Who else would be better to help shape the minds of young, wonderful, potentially wonderful people such as Eric? There could be hundreds of Erics out there. All at your tutelage.
Doesn't that make you happy and want to smile?
Lots of Erics.
Just think about who he could become under your guidance.
Yeah, president, student, your husband.
Mute.
Just think of all the shenanigans you will crush.
That does sound like fun.
Sorry, Tyson pants.
All right,
Maybe
then.
we
We are in agreement?
The rebels agreed to cease outside heroism and return to fold of Silver Star under previous leadership.
We like this. Yeah.
This is good.
That was the whole
This makes up for Eric.
I mean, I've always done the best I can for France. Does that constitute heroism and I'm not allowed anymore?
And I mean, really, I just kind of hero for hire.
We pay well.
Yeah, but when we're paying you to do something in Mongolia, and then you take those resources and you go to Uzbekistan and liberate 10,000 people from slave camps, that's really awesome. But it's not what we paid you to do. I go to Mongolia to help the people.
So what you're saying is that you'll now pay him for both things that he did.
Exactly.
Exactly.
What you're saying is the good guys get paid?
It's an internship, Eric.
Sorry.
Yeah, you will be an intern.
And the ruble worthless anyway.
Right.
Very good. Next, may we continue?
Well, I
I think we can agree that it's heroism both either way. Now you're doing it back with us.
Let us know what
the back.
heroism you're doing before you run off and save the
Yes.
keepers.
Heroism
Does
is
that
with-
extend to specifically military rule? Madam President's question still stands. As Madam President, is she going to have to answer to you three anytime she wishes to make a proclamation for her people?
Well,
Can I,
No.
can I just...
Nine. Madam President, as you are not a military officer, you stay in your present and former position. As a signer of the treaty, you are merely here to support the combined decision that we should all honor the treaty and not build giant death rays again.
But a memo would be nice. Just a little note saying, you know.
Do you find this?
So we're not the boss of you.
No, just...
Oh, no, you're not.
See?
Sufficient.
Very well, we move on to the next one. Silver Star agrees to a slight promotion entitled for rebels to easily facilitate reintegration.
What's higher than a president?
Yeah.
How...
And as I'm not
It said slight. It said
actually
slight.
in your military, I will be raising my rates just a touch.
You're paying for this.
Yeah, we are.
The nature of your touch will be determined.
Madam President has question.
Of course.
What is higher than president?
Queen, I would think.
No. No.
I'm sorry.
I know what we do to queens in France. Merci.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It is a moot point regardless, as the promotions in question are for swarm members who are reforming.
I thought it was for
The rebels.
rebel faction. What they were referring
Did I mishear it?
Silver Star agrees to a slight promotion entitled for rebels to easily facilitate reintegration.
So
Yeah, then it's not a moot point. All right, what is
Montgomery
Montgomery?
here, who
Well,
would
no,
be,
she can-
who was what, commander before, would be
Indeed.
promoted to captain?
At least,
Or
in fact.
major?
Why? Oh, I like the sound of Major Doctor.
Major Doctor. Yes.
Really? You want to go with the army?
Dr. Minor.
You have a problem with the army all of a sudden.
I like that.
Yes.
I like you both, you're very pretty.
President with
Major
extra
Hassan.
veto power.
Be fine.
Yeah.
I will not get greedy.
That is very kind. In the search for peace and unity. This is much appreciated. And final point to treaty. Both sides agreed to formation of the Council of Peking, a group that will deliberate the necessary decisions needed to move forward in this post-war world under the rule of bobbins.
So, about that. Bobbins hasn't exactly been on his game lately. He's been a little...
Which is why we have this council.
Yes.
It's just like when they made me be Kaiser. I said quite simply to all the people, all the Junkers and whatnot, that said, we want him to be the Kaiser. I said, okay, and here's my 17-point plan towards democracy.
Yeah,
He said,
but
we don't
Bob-
want democracy. And I said, if you don't want democracy on my 17-point plan, we will sit, we will talk about our feelings. And once I use the F word, all the German men agreed to the plan because they'd rather do that than talk about
So,
feelings.
how do we know that this council that we are forming, well, we may have a voice, but how do we know that Bobbins will listen?
I will sit on him.
I'll take his tea away.
We've got a cousin, yeah.
It's always worked his whole life.
You could probably
In
hide it.
addition to however you decide to touch your cousin, I do essentially agree with you. I have questions about his health, and I do believe that there is much to be discussed when it comes to him as a person. But if we cannot come together and agree, put our faith in him as a leader, then it does not matter who signs this document today. The entire world will continue to war against each other.
Fair.
Not to mention, we can also use this council to help guide his hand.
Precisely.
I believe that is the hope of all of us.
Come together and rise up.
We have never had before an emperor of the world. But
We're
to have...
technically the Eurasian continent.
Sure.
Africa and South America and all of North America, which is more than the United States. There's Mexico and, Canada.
Is it? Is it?
Give me a flag, I'll fix it.
Canada still belongs to us.
Ooh, that's a fun word to use, belongs.
Lord Robbins and so on. Yeah.
Very,
We got
very-
flags.
Yeah. But North America, well, the United States is still
United States of America.
The United States of
Because
America.
Mexico is the United States of Mexico.
You can have a
Yes.
fire.
America,
Status
the
United.
United States of America is still outside of Bob's reach.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I was clarifying. He's not an emperor of the world.
Yeah,
Just,
fair.
big chunk.
Yeah,
Yes.
Europe and Asia. Protector of half of the world.
Where all the good food comes from, we'll take those
And
countries.
you being on this council will allow America to have a voice in the world stage.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. And also get us lots of guns.
Lots of what?
What? Continue.
He said cookies.
Yes.
yeah. Why does
I too want lots of cookies.
Who doesn't like cookies?
So what I'm hearing is if we sign the paper, we get lots of cookies.
Right. That was the last note on here. Was there any other things we not need to discuss before we wrap this baby up?
Why are you wrapping babies?
Are there any questions?